Namaste. I'm Madison Annette. Welcome back to Embodied Unity. I had a long week. It was a full moon this week and just a lot of relational dynamics that were really challenging. So I'm feeling pretty exhausted and just feel like I need some nourishment. So I'm bringing you a nourishing self-love practice to connect back to you, maybe after a long day or a long week. And yeah, so I thought I'd just film what I needed today, and I need some gentle loving. So kind of bringing in some of my favorite elements of the yoga practice to this class. So it won't be fully asana. Asana will be a small part of the class, and I'm kind of planning on doing pranayama, some chanting to my friend Ganesha, and yeah, just some gentle movement. So let's get on the mat and get ready to nourish ourselves. As with all of my practices, but especially right now, it's really important to just ground in, notice where we're at. So let's close down the eyes, relaxing the shoulders away from the ears, finding that nice straight spine, so not leaning forward or back. Maybe find a big sighing exhale. Allowing yourself to arrive. Beginning practice by just noticing what has come with you to the mat. Are there any sensations, energies that are present with you at this moment? Yourself a moment longer just to notice, not judging or trying to assign a story. Let's take 2 more breaths with our internal world. Continuing to remain seated as we slowly blink open the eyes. Going to invite in a mudra series called Awakening the Lotus. So let's bring the hands to the heart space in prayer. We're going to bloom out the middle fingers. So pinky and thumb stay together. The middle 3 fingers bloom out like flower petals. Holding this lotus over your heart space, maybe closing the eyes back down for a moment. Noticing how it feels to have this mudra over the heart. This mudra of compassion, of love. Let's take one more breath with our lotus. And we're going to move through a series of movements with our lotus mudra, linking them with the breath. So we'll inhale here with the lotus at the heart. On our exhale, we're going to take the backs of the palms together, opening up the lotus as the fingers come to point towards the chest. Making a full rotation with the wrists. We're going to find our lotus again and raise it above our head. Inhaling here, exhaling your lotus back down to the heart. We'll inhale to fill our lotus with love from the heart. And on the exhale, opening up the lotus, backs of the palms coming to touch. Fingertips pointing towards the chest as we make a full rotation in the wrist. Finding our lotus again as we rise it above the head. Inhaling here. And on the exhale, pulling our lotus back down to the heart. Let's do this a few more times, moving with your own breath. Inhaling to fill the lotus with love. Closing your eyes once you get the hang of it, so you can really make contact with the subtle energies of this movement. Breathing into your heart space. Let's find two more. Ending the next time that your lotus is at the heart. Let's find two more deep breaths into our lotus. And releasing hands down to the knees. Just noticing how you feel. Noticing any new sensations or changes in your energy. One more breath here. We're going to slowly journey down onto our backs. Taking your time to get there. Taking a moment to arrive, being received in the arms of the earth. Send our legs up towards the sky. And if this is comfortable for you here on the low back, then we'll also bring arms up to the sky. If your low back does not like to have both arms and legs up here, feel free to put your hands under the pelvis, or maybe bring in a blanket. So here, with our hands and feet up towards the sky, let's make some circles with the wrists and the ankles. Unwinding the joints, releasing any tension here, going in both directions. And finishing up with any other wiggles or movements that you'd like for the hands and feet. Let's find some shakes, shaking it out, looking silly. And then extending the legs out on the ground with some space in between the feet. And bringing arms up above the head and some space in between the hands as well. Making a nice big star as you lay on your mat here. Giving yourself this moment to take up as much space as you can. So really reaching out with those limbs, finding your biggest, brightest star. And just feeling what it's like for a moment to let yourself take up this space. To feel all of you being held by the earth. Maybe reminding yourself that it's safe to take up space. That you are worthy of taking up space. One more breath here. With the next inhale, let's reach out through the fingers and toes, engaging the arms and legs. And we'll pull them back together. So legs still extended, arms still above the head, but more straightness in the limbs. So feet directly into the hips, hands directly above the shoulders. We're going to do just a gentle, nourishing movement here. So with our right foot, let's begin to point those toes down towards the ground, kind of shifting the hip along with it. So the left hip is going to kind of ride up closer to the body as that right leg extends. And then we'll switch, pointing through the left toes, shifting that left hip down as the right hip rides up a bit. And then just invite those legs to switch back and forth. And just gently nourishing. And you can relax the arm, they don't have to stay pointing up so actively. Just letting them hang out above the head as we continue to point and extend through the legs, shifting the pelvis, and just noticing how that feels. A little bit of massage for the pelvis. And then let's begin to bring the arms into this movement as well. So we'll start with just the arms, reaching up with the right fingertips, extending that shoulder as far away from the body as you can, and switching over to the left side, reaching with those left fingertips, switching back and forth with just the arms here for a moment, finding full engaged extension, and then relaxing to switch over to the other side. Now let's begin to pair the arms and legs together with this movement. So we'll start with the right side, reaching up and away with the right fingertips and down and away with the right toes. Switching over to the left side as the right side relaxes. Maybe finding some big sighing exhales as you do this. Maybe inviting in little gentle side body bends. Finding these reach extensions and relaxations. Let's do a couple more. And when you're done, just kind of shift the pelvis back and forth, giving yourself a little wobble.
And then find full relaxation once more. Arms can be wherever you'd like them. Mine are still hanging out above the head, but if you'd like to bring them down by your sides, that's totally fine. Just letting the body be really heavy for a moment. I feel like I've been holding a lot this week. And really need to just give myself a moment to be held by the earth. This time laying on our mat is such a potent reminder that we are always held by the earth and can always come to her and relax into her arms. Let's take one more breath here. We're going to begin to find some more movement in the form of some spinal twists. And again, kind of engaging this extension and relaxation action again. So what we're going to do is I'll start with the left leg so you can see better. So we'll take that left knee and bend it up towards the chest. And bring my arms back up by my sides. And kind of tent them out a little bit. I'm not doing full T with the arms, but they're not right down by my sides either. So just a little bit, maybe like an airplane arm, but on the ground. Bringing that left knee in towards the chest. What I'm going to do with that left knee is just bring it over to the right side of my body as far as feels good. Lifting up through the left shoulder. And then I'll relax back down to the ground. And send the left leg out long. Switching sides. Bringing the right knee up to the chest. Twisting it over to the left side, letting the shoulder lift. Finding a full extension. And then returning. Moving nice and slow here. Maybe envisioning yourself like you're moving through molasses. Really feeling the body as it makes these movements. Feeling all of the subtleties of the muscle engagement. Just going as far as feels good here. If your low back starts to speak to you at all, making it a little bit more of a smaller movement. Let's do a couple more on each side. Decompressing tension from the spine for just a moment longer. Last one. And let's bring both knees up to the chest and find some gentle rocks side to side. And rocking movements are very soothing to the nervous system, which is why it's the universal baby soothing motion. It's so sweet and nourishing to do for ourselves too. But playing around here, maybe if you want to find a full happy baby, rock yourself side to side for a little bit longer. Letting your nervous system really feel the sweetness and the care of this movement. Finishing up whenever you're ready. There's no rush. We'll meet in a seat, but really take your time to get there. This practice is all about doing what you need to do for yourself. So to get up to a seat, I'm going to rock back and forth with my spine, massaging it out a bit. You can do this for as long as feels good to you. We'll eventually rock it up to a seat. Re-arriving
couple breaths with the eyes closed. Just checking back in and noticing any shifts. Just sending a couple loving breaths into your heart. And when you're ready, we'll swing the legs under a knee in a tabletop. Taking some time to move around however you'd like. Finding some movements that would feel good to your body and your tabletop. There's so much movement that can be accessed from this shape, and I love doing freeform table movement. I honestly probably do freeform table movement in most of my studio classes, and it's so cool to look across the room and seeing so many people just doing so many different movements and really honoring what their body desires. So finding movement that makes you feel good, that releases tension from your body. I've been really enjoying these pelvis rocks, I guess, like sending my hips back towards the heels and rocking the pelvis back and forth, a little bit of a U shape. Let's finish up 2 more breaths of freeform movement. We'll come back to a nice stable table with the knees under hips, the wrists under shoulders. And let's do a couple super slow cat-cows together. And so this movement is going to be initiated by our tailbone, beginning with that tailbone as it lifts towards the sky, very, very slowly, finding an arch in the spine as the chin lifts last. And the tailbone will initiate the wave down into cat, beginning it to curl under as one by one each vertebrae follows along until our chin is the last thing to come in towards the chest. Continuing to move nice and slow, not worrying so much this time about syncing breath with movement. Really just focusing on moving slow. What is it like for you to move this slow? Is it challenging in your body? Does it feel really nice for you? Just noticing what it's like to find very slow movement. We'll do one more full round. After your last cat, let's return to a straight spine. And just for a moment, feel the sturdy stability of your body in this shape. That slight engagement of the core, creating a flat back, strong arms and legs. Just feeling yourself supporting you for a moment here. Maybe reminding yourself, I can support myself. When you're ready, we're going to send our knees out about as wide as the mat and shift back into child's pose.
Maybe the big toes touch in this shape for you, maybe they don't. Whatever feels nourishing. And if you'd rather have knees together and take more of this kind of turtley child's pose, it's also great. I'm just gonna find a small resting pose. Allowing the breath to slow and deepen. Feeling what the shape is like for your low back, your hips. And then let's extend our arms all the way out and slowly walk them over to the left. Anchoring down through that right palm once you've reached your maximum reach. Anchoring down into the right palm and into the right hip. Finding a nice long right side body. And we'll slowly walk the hands through the center of the mat and over to the right side. Finding that maximum reach and anchoring down into left hip and into left palm. Extending through the left side body. Using the breath to find expansion. One more breath here. And then we'll return the hands to the middle of the mat. Just notice if your child's pose can now sink a little deeper. Maybe the chest sinks a little closer towards the earth. Now that we've opened up the shoulders and the fascia of the side body. Let's find 2 more deep breaths in our Balasana. Journeying nice and slow, which seems to be the theme of this class so far. We're going to come up into a downward facing dog, so taking as much time as you'd like to get there. And when you arrive, finding any movements that feel good in this shape. Maybe walking it out nice and slow as you press the chest towards the thighs, feeling the legs and the shoulders open up. Let's take 2 more deep breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana. And nice and slow, we'll walk the feet up to the front of the mat, meeting in a forward fold. Maybe grabbing opposite elbows, or keeping hands down on the ground, but inviting in some movement, maybe some sways as you bend into one knee and then the other. Letting the head be really heavy. Seeing if you can allow the head to pull you closer down towards the earth. 2 more breaths with whatever you would like in your forward fold. Nice and slow, rolling it up to standing, shifting the hips over the knees, rolling up through the spine. Rolling those shoulders back a bit as you arrive, feeling the entire length of your body. And invitation to bring some attention to the feet. So lifting up the toes, wiggling them around, shifting the weight back and forth, side to side, just feeling into this connection with the earth for a minute. Maybe some gentle bounces with the heels. And firmly planting those feet on the earth, finding stillness. Seeing if you can envision the breath with an inhale traveling all the way up from the bottom of the feet through the entire length of your body to the top of your head. On your exhale, envisioning the energy of the breath traveling from the top of the head all the way down the body and into the earth. One more breath like this. We're going to invite in some gentle swaying movements, making this as big or as small as you'd like, letting the arms be really heavy as they kind of flop from side to side, hitting the glutes and the thighs. Maybe the heels begin to lift off and the knees begin to bend. I'm finding a little lymphatic release with this movement, facilitating the movement of energetic release in the body. Nice and gently though. And maybe inviting in a little extra shake of the hands, fling energy out. Let's find a couple more of these big sways. Nice heavy arms. And slowly, organically, finding stillness. Next, we're going to go into some tapping. Tapping is a really powerful, energetic release and beautiful way to kind of reset the body. So I like to begin with my face. I'm going to take off my glasses and get away. And we'll start with this cheekbone space. So all the way from under the eye, kind of stretching out towards the cheek. So bringing 2 or 3 fingertips to this bone beneath the eye, just gently tapping, getting curious about moving along this bone with maybe just 1 finger towards the nose. And finding what feels good with your taps here. Ooh, it's kind of a sore spot right there for some reason. Just on one side. I'm just noticing how this feels for you. Maybe giggling a little at the sound of your fingertips. from here, we'll move down to the collarbone. So I kind of find little taps along the way, leading down my neck. Bringing the fingers to the collarbone and finding taps in this space, kind of moving along. I like to go above the collarbone. There's some lymphs that live right here. This is also really good to help move things through the lymphatic system. Gentle taps along the collarbone. Sorry if that made a not great sound. A few more breaths. The collarbone. And we'll make our way down to the sternum. Kind of make a little more of a claw shape here. The sternum can take a little bit more pressure. So I'm using 2 fingers in this little claw shape to tap my sternum. Taking deep breaths into the heart space as you do this one. Last breath here. Last point that I'm going to invite some tapping into is at the back. So I'm going to bend down and I'll kind of turn so you can see. I'm going to be using fists and tapping above the glutes. So I like to really get into my SI joints with this, which are those little back dimples that you kind of feel at the top of the pelvis here. It's also really nice to get into the kidneys, which are a little bit higher up into the sides from those back dimples. So just exploring what it's like to find some release for the lower back. Again, letting the head be heavy here as you fold forward. Maybe exploring what it's like to find some taps for the top of the glutes. And finishing up one more breath here. Release the arms, let them hang heavy, kind of ragdolling here. Messy forward fold, not trying to find anything that's looking pretty here, just finding a bend in the knees, maybe let yourself just fully be heavy. And nice and slow, roll it back up. Inviting the hands into Anjali Mudra, prayer at the heart. Checking back in, noticing any shifts in your energy. Now that we've kind of created some release in the body, let's do a little sun A just to kind of move things through. So with our next inhale, inviting the hands up above the head. On the exhale, folding forward. Inhale to find a halfway lift, shoulders reaching back for the hips. Exhaling to fold down once more. Allow the inhale to bring you all the way back up, hands above the head. Exhaling forward fold. Inhale, halfway lift, nice straight spine. Exhale, full fold. Moving with your breath, inhaling to come all the way up. We'll do about 3 more rounds at your own pace with your own breath. After the arms come up the next time, let's exhale the hands into prayer at the heart space. We'll meet there. One more breath here. We're going to step the feet out a little wider and sink it down into Malasana, our yogi squat. If you'd like to bring a block in for underneath the glutes, or whichever height is comfortable, that can be really nice to just hang out with the block there. I might do that a little bit today. Finding any movements if that feels good. Maybe stillness is better for you today. Wherever you're at in your Malasana, reaching down towards the ground with that tailbone as the crown reaches up to the sky. Finding a nice long spine in this shape. Even if you're tilted forward a little bit, that's okay. Still trying to find length here. This is probably one of my favorite asanas. I think it's just such a primal position, and humans all over the world use this shape to cook food, go to the bathroom, wash things, and thinking back hundreds of thousands of years, our ancestors probably sat in this position quite a lot too. I find it to be really nourishing and grounding. Let's take 3 more deep breaths in this squat. And from here, we'll sink the booty down onto the ground and bring the legs in front of us for a seat. We're going to come down to the ground soon and do some postures there, but I'd like us to do a little pranayama and a little chant to Ganesha. Before we do that, I'm going to invite my sweet Ganesha up here with me.
And finding your nice straight spine in your seat. Maybe an open mouth, sighing exhale. I'd like to do a little samavriti or box breathing for our pranayama today. So this pranayama technique, we'll be inhaling, we'll be holding the breath at the top of the inhale, we'll be exhaling, and we'll be holding the breath at the bottom of the exhale, all for the same amount of time, so it forms this kind of box shape. I like to start with a count of 4. So I'll count us through all together for a couple rounds, and then I'll release you to count on your own so that you can establish your own connection with the breath, and from there you can increase or decrease the count as you desire. So if you want to move down to 3, move up to 5 or 6, the choice is yours. Hands can be wherever you'd like them, resting on the legs comfortably. I'm going to do that today with my palms, just resting on my legs to kind of cement in this grounding energy. But if you'd like to find any mudra for this pranayama, the choice is yours. So we'll begin by syncing up our breath, exhaling all the air out of the body, and then we'll inhale for 1, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, inhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4, exhale, 2, 3, 4, hold, 2, 3, 4. Continuing with your own count. After the hold at the bottom of your next exhale, allow the breath to return to its natural rhythm. This pranayama, samavriti, is aimed at calming the fluctuations of the mind, which is what the name in Sanskrit means. Noticing maybe how the mind space is doing in this moment. Next, I'd like to lead us through a chant to Ganesha. Ganesha, the elephant-headed god, is a Hindu deity known for removing obstacles. And what I really like when I'm connecting with Ganesha is kind of asking for this strength to move through the obstacles in life with ease and grace. Because life is going to present you obstacles no matter what. It's going to be tough energies to move through, and intentionally connecting maybe with higher powers like Ganesha to help you move through these obstacles can be really powerful. So I'm going to invite in Ganesha mudra, which is bringing the tips of the fingers into the palm of the opposite hand and kind of making this interlocking fist. And the chant for Ganesha is Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. And I'll type that out on the screen here so you can kind of visually see it. We'll find 4 repetitions of this chant, and if you'd like to just listen and have my voice kind of create the vibration of sound for you, that's totally fine. If you'd like to join me in chanting, let's exhale all the air from the body, and then we'll inhale to chant. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Om Gam Ganapataye Namaha. Pausing in silence to feel this connection, the chant, and with Ganesha. One more breath here. We're going to journey down onto our backs, and we're going to have our blocks handy as we come down, keeping the knees bent. We're going to bring the soles of the feet to touch and find our reclined butterfly. So I'm going to bring my blocks in under the legs and situate them to find this spot where you feel a sensation, where you feel this release of the hips, but without too much pressure. So if you can do this without the blocks, great. I can't. So I like to bring the blocks in for this to let myself really be comfortable here. Maybe inviting in a big sigh. Exhale as you arrive. And seeing if you can visualize and getting curious about visualization of the breath once more. Noticing if you can allow the exhales to carry energy out of the hips. Letting the opening of the hips slowly release tension along with this carrying out by the breath. And making sure to really relax the hips. Trying to not grip them. And trying to relax the low belly and the pelvic floor as well while we rest here. It may or may not be familiar knowledge to you, but as humans we hold so much energetic, emotional tension in the
hip space, and the hips and the low belly. Seeing if you can really let yourself release. Letting go of what you've been holding on to. Putting it down for a while. If you notice tension start to creep into the hips and the low belly, and letting your breath relax it back out. Let's find 3 more deep breaths here. Out of this shape, I like to press my heels together and create space between the toes and kind of dig the pinky toe into the mat as my hands lift the knees up. Remove my blocks back off to the side. Bring my knees into the chest, giving them a nice big squeeze. From here, I'm going to grab onto my knees with the hands and lengthen the elbows. Maybe you need to adjust your pants so that they're not right underneath your SI joints. But so grabbing onto the knees, lengthening through the elbows. We're going to find just a gentle SI massage here. So using the hands to move the knees around, maybe opening and closing them, maybe finding some circles, or just gently rocking back and forth. And a couple breaths. Massage the sacroiliac joint, allowing it to release. And when that feels complete to you, inviting in any other movements that you would like before we find our rest. So if there's anything else that your body would like to do to release tension, finding that now. And when you're ready, we'll meet in Shavasana.
Taking your time to arrive. I know I'm laying down, but that does not mean you have to be yet. So enjoying whatever kinds of movements you might like before you find stillness. For today's Shavasana, I'll drop us in together. And then I'm going to leave some extended time at the end of the video so that you can lay as long as you like, so that you may drift as long as you like. Really use this chance to find nourishing stillness for yourself. Getting up whenever the time is right for you. Whenever you've made your way down into your resting pose, allowing your body to relax. All those delicate muscles in your beautiful face to relax. Letting the shoulders sink towards the earth.
As your breaths slow, finding some gratitude to yourself for taking this time to nourish yourself, your body, your mind, your soul. Maybe while you drift into this rest, breathing loving gratitude into yourself with each inhale, and letting that be your anchor. Om Shanti, Shanti, Shanti. Peace.